Welcome to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. And now, your host, Tim Johnson.
The Tiger Athletic Foundation is a private, nonprofit corporation dedicated to supporting LSU and its athletic program. As the primary source of private funding for LSU athletics, TAF's mission is clear: to lead the university in building a comprehensively superior athletic program. The TAF has been the primary provider of funding for the construction and renovation of facilities and the purchase of equipment to provide Tiger student athletes with the best possible opportunity to compete at a national level. General Ron Richard, President and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation, joins us when we return on the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Joe Martin, President of ITI Technical College. Do you want a better life?
Get your associate's degree in occupational studies in information technology from ITI. In 2 years, you'll be on your way to a better life. You will get hands-on specialized training in computers, hardware and software, networking, and more. ITI offers flexible class schedules, and financial aid is available to those who qualify.
So don't wait. Call ITI now or go online. It's that simple.
ITI for a better life.
I'm Leighton Ricks, Livingston Parish, and Livingston Parish is on the move. One of the primary things that we ran on was developing business and jobs in Livingston Parish for our people so that we can bring obviously additional revenue to be able to support our infrastructure needs. We're going to continue to progress here in Livingston Parish. When everybody comes together, these kind of things happen. I mean, what can you say? It's absolutely awesome. It's the perfect place to be. It's where you want to be today, I can guarantee you that.
Hi, I'm Lee Burkeen with Louisiana Football TV Magazine. Be sure to watch our show every week where we have big-time recruits, college coaches, NFL players, current and former players, and call-ins with your questions. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday night at 6:30 live and 10:30 replayed on Cox 4 in Baton Rouge.
Insurance commercials have become unusually funny. We think that's strange because we take auto coverage pretty seriously at Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Of course, when you cover as many vehicles in Louisiana as we do, it doesn't leave a lot of time for silly gimmicks. We're more concerned about what happens to you on the road than any chickens that happen to cross it just to make you chuckle. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. I am very pleased to have joining us today General Ron Richard. General Richard is the President and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation. General, welcome.
Well, thank you for asking me to be on the program.
I mentioned to you before we got started today, you are the second Evangeline Parish native in a row to be on the show. I'm an Evangeline Parish native. Glenn Fontenot, plant manager of Methanex, was here last week. So I think we're trying to do a whole series with Evangeline Parish people this week.
Well, I count for two. You know, I went to school in Evangeline Parish. I lived right across the line in Acadia Parish. So I'm a twofer.
Twofer, right? Basile, Louisiana. Good stuff. Your military career, your background, obviously Evangeline Parish, as we mentioned, very interesting stuff. But tell us more about that career, General, and the process that led you to become the President and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation.
Well, obviously it's a little more complicated than what I'm going to explain to you. But as a young boy, I had a desire to be a Marine. And that desire was fulfilled while I was at LSU. ROTC was mandatory at that time, but after 2 years, it was not mandatory. So I joined the Marine Corps program, graduated from LSU, went to Vietnam, and remained in the Marine Corps for 33 years.
all the way up to the rank of general. So I'm sure that you've experienced some great things in terms of molding your leadership capabilities and your background and all of that sort of thing. I know that military experience obviously served you very well in the role you're in today.
The military experience, I think, serves everybody well, regardless of what profession they ultimately end up if they don't make the military a career. So I was very, very fortunate, very lucky, and owe a lot to LSU for taking a country boy and letting him compete, allowing him rather, to compete with some of the brightest and great people in our country.
Well, and I think the success that you've had really speaks for itself, and I really want to get into some of that now. You became, and I don't know, was it 10, 12 years ago, more than that, the president and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation? How long ago was it?
13 years ago.
13 years ago. I knew we were somewhere in that ballpark, but a critically important organization to LSU Athletics and really to the whole university. So let's start there. Tell us about the mission of the TAF.
The mission of Tiger Athletic Foundation is basically simple. It's to provide whatever assistance that is needed to the athletic department and the university in the whole to make the athletic department as competitive as it possibly can be. We now have manifested that broad mission into facilities. And we spend the majority of our support in upgrading or building new facilities for the student athlete.
And I want to talk about those new facilities really one by one a little bit later in the show. And I know you do some other things with scholarships, and maybe we'll talk a little bit about that as well. But let's discuss the structure of the TAF. Governed by a board of directors, contributors, business people from around the state and around the country, great staff. Talk about how you're organized, how you're led, and how you're staffed.
Well, the organization is a corporate model. We have a board of directors, which has fiduciary responsibility on our budget. Secondly, we have an executive committee, which is made up of 11 members of that board that meets once a month and reviews how I'm doing, what needs to be done, discusses any board-type problems.
Just like any other board, really sets big picture perspective, right?
Operating at 30,000 feet. They
Right.
operate at 30,000 feet. I operate at about 1 inch. And then we have a staff. We have a great staff, very little turnover. We provide good amenities to our staff, and I like to say that we pay the staff what they're worth, and they're worth a lot. We have 34 people that are full-time. We have about 8 students, depending on their schedule, come in and help us do various things.
It really is an impressive group of individuals, and I've had the privilege of working with and getting to know a lot of them. And you really, part of leadership, obviously, is surrounding yourself with capable people. And oftentimes I say capable people who are smarter than you are and help you really chase the goals that are out there for you. Let's talk about the relationship of the TAF to LSU and to LSU Athletics. It's a unique relationship, but explain how the two work together.
It is unique. We are just like the other 2 foundations on the Baton Rouge campus. We are a 501c3 private corporation. The difference is that we have a constant stream of, first of all, income and expenses and debt. So we incur debt, not for the university, we incur debt on our own to build facilities.
Private debt, that's
private
important,
debt.
Right?
It's not state money, no student fees, completely private. That is made available by an affiliation agreement that we have with the Board of Supervisors that run the LSU, what used to be called the system,
Right.
now one LSU, if you will. And that allows us to use the LSU logos, represent LSU, do business with outside firms in order to solve problems and build facilities, and for that matter, just do normal business type of operations. My job is more or less not a fundraiser per se. I have a department that does that. My job is to manage and run a business, which happens to be LSU Athletics and the support of.
And that's why I think it was critical to have you on the Louisiana Business and Industry Show, because it is a critical business to our state. We're going to take a break. We come back, I want to talk about that fundraising effort, how critical it is to what you do. I know that you give, the athletic side of the university is always able to give money back to the academic side of the university, but you guys are doing some great things in terms of facilities out there. We're visiting with General Ron Richard. He's the president and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
I go to work every day, and I love doing what I'm doing, and I love being a part of Livingston Parish, and to be elected sheriff, to be able to lead Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office is just such an honor for me. And so I'm very excited about not only where we're at today, but where we're going to be at in the future. The parish is so special to us. The citizens, they work with the Sheriff's Office, they trust the Sheriff's Office. Our community stands behind us 100%, and they get involved. They don't want crime in Livingston Parish.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the Grand Slam hitter to grandparents. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Hello, I'm Eric Edwards with the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Find out now what's going on in Livingston Parish. We have over 400 nautical miles of waterways. Tee it up at our great world-renowned golf courses. Shop at our antique districts, or come to Bass Pro, our #1 retailer. There's a lot to do in Livingston Parish that you never imagined. It's all happening right here in Livingston Parish. For more information, go online at visitlivingstonparish.com.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the three-point shooter to the three-piece suit. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. We're visiting with General Ron Richard. He's the president and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation. And General, in the first segment, we sort of set up what the TAF is, how it's structured, the mission. But fundraising is a critical part of what you do. Now, you said you're not the fundraiser in chief. You have a staff that does that. I know you're engaged in it, involved in it. But let's talk about the fundraising side, the tradition funds, the TAF membership. I know the University Club plays a role in helping to raise funds for the TAF as well.
All of that is that you mentioned is very, very important. Let's just start at the latter. On the University Club is the home club and the home base for our men and women's golf team. Mm-hmm. That's really why the University Club was built, created, and is maintained. Now, in addition to that, there's a real estate business that sells homes, and of course, it's a subdivision. And they're members also of that. We're not part of that real estate type operation, but we're certainly part, and we have renovated now for the first time the University Club. We did that so that the NC2A would accredit that course for regional and national events for both of our members.
Right. It is a beautiful facility, and it is a, in terms of university golf team complex, is really one of the shining stars in the conference. It's a beautiful facility. Now, you also have the tradition fund that we hear a lot about. You know, I'm a season ticket holder in football and basketball, and so particularly in football, when I renew my season tickets every year, I don't just pay for my tickets now. I pay a tradition fund to the Tiger Athletic Foundation that is a critical part in the growth that we've seen in Tiger Athletics. But let's talk about specifically that part of your fundraising.
Well, that part of the fundraising is twofold. The Tradition Fund is made up of monies that are on top of people. A lot of people call them seat charges, surcharges, or whatnot, seat licenses.
Seat licenses, right.
It's all semantics. It's really money on top of what the face value is. And that money is used by the athletic department directly. Some of the tickets go directly to the athletic department as far as the surcharge, if you will. Some of it goes towards right directly to TAF, which then in turn turns that around and puts it back into the athletic department's disposal. So all of the monies that are raised from the Tradition Fund to philanthropy, through scholarships, to no matter what it is, every dollar that comes in is turned around and used in support of LSU Athletics or the university on certain projects that we're asked to help out on.
And it really is critical to remaining competitive, as we said in the open of the show. Now let's talk about academics a little bit, because I know your background. I've known you for a long time. You and I happen to go to church together at St. Aloysius Catholic Church in Baton Rouge, so we see each other regularly. And I know how critically important athletics are, academics are to you and what you do. The Cox, as we sit here in the Cox studios, right, the Cox Academic Center for Student Athletes on the LSU campus, I know is a very important part of what you do and something you're very proud of. So talk about that center and talk about the TAF's relationship to the academic side of the university.
Well, I am very proud of that, and our staff's very proud of that. That money to renovate the old gym armory, which is now the Cox Academic Center for Student Athletes, was done solely on the philanthropic side of financing. Took us about 18 months. We raised approximately $16 million.
Former LSU football coach Nick Saban, I know, was engaged in that process and helped out a lot. And that center really provides assistance to all student athletes in maintaining the first priority of why they're at the university, right? And that's the academic side of what they do.
That is correct, Tim. And not only student athletes, it provides an auditorium that is a state-of-the-art auditorium, and about 5,000 students, not just student athletes, flow through the academic center on a weekly basis. But the academic center is one of the first places that is for in the recruiting process that a mother and father sees, to tell and send a message that this building called the Cox Academic Center for student athletes is of the premier jewel in the crown of what we do, because we want your son or your daughter to graduate and be a successful member of this great republic.
You have seen it make a real difference in recruiting, haven't you?
I have.
And it's an important part of what we do. We got about a minute left in this segment, and I don't want us to end the segment without talking about the scholarship programs that the TAF administers, because I know, we think of TAF and we think of these great expansions of the facilities, but the scholarships are important to you as well. Scholarships
are critical to any athletic program, because that's where a lot of the money obviously goes to help support and run the athletic endeavor. We have scholarships, and we've provided scholarships, and we continually do it. It's a continuous process. Academic fees, tuition increase as they should, and that applies to the athlete also. When he gets a scholarship, he pays the same dollar that everybody else pays as far as lab fees, tuition, dormitory, housing, so on and so forth.
And the TAF helps with that. We're going to take a break, and we come back, we're going to jump into these facilities, because some great things have happened on the campus, some great things are underway, and some great things are planned to take place as we go forward in terms of the great Tiger Athletic facilities. We're visiting with General Ron Richard. He's the president and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation, and you're watching the Louisiana Business and Industry Show on Cox 4.
The Louisiana Business and Industry Show will be back right after this.
Hi, I'm Lieber Keane with Louisiana Football TV Magazine. Be sure to watch our show every week where we have big-time recruits, college coaches, NFL players, current and former players, and call-ins with your questions. Be sure to catch us every Tuesday night at 6:30 live and 10:30 replayed on Cox 4 in Baton Rouge.
Hello, I'm Eric Edwards with the Livingston Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau. Find out now what's going on in Livingston Parish. We have over 400 nautical miles of waterways. Tee it up at our great world-renowned golf courses. Shop at our antique districts, or come to Bass Pro, our #1 retailer. There's a lot to do in Livingston Parish that you never imagined. It's all happening right here in Livingston Parish. For more information, go online at visitlivingstonparish.com.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from the soccer star to the soccer mom. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Insurance commercials have become unusually funny. We think that's strange because we take auto coverage pretty seriously at Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Of course, when you cover as many vehicles in Louisiana as we do, it doesn't leave a lot of time for silly gimmicks. We're more concerned about what happens to you on the road than any chickens that happen to cross it just to make you chuckle. Louisiana Farm Bureau Insurance. Real service, real people.
At Peak Performance Physical Therapy, we treat the athlete in everyone, from long drivers to unlucky drivers. If your doctor prescribes physical therapy, ask for Peak Performance by name, getting you back in the game of life.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show with Tim Johnson.
Welcome back to the Louisiana Business and Industry Show. We're visiting with General Ron Richard, President and CEO of the Tiger Athletic Foundation. And when most people, General, think about the Tiger Athletic Foundation, they think about facilities, because LSU's got some of the greatest in the conference. And I've had the great privilege of traveling all over the United States, certainly all over the conference. I've been to every school in the conference. I haven't made the trip to Missouri yet, but I've been everywhere else. And I know that our facilities are on par or better than every place I've been. And so let's talk about some of the things that have already taken place, and then we'll talk about this football expansion. Let me read this. Football Operations Center, Alex Box Stadium, Tiger Park, the women's softball field. Great improvements to the Assembly Center, the new basketball practice facility, the golf building that we mentioned before that exists at the University Club. So many things that are high-profile facility improvements on the campus. Kind of give us a minute or so on those that have already taken place that we just mentioned, and then let's talk about this great new football expansion.
Well, all the things you mentioned, plus several more, the bottom line is $500 million.
$500 million, 500 million.
Just short of $500 million is, except for the football stadium, all of that was philanthropic money. Football stadium that we'll get into is basically a loan that we pay back every month. It's a bond issue.
Right, but you know, if you think about it, this new basketball practice facility, the upgrades to the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, the finest on-campus college baseball stadium in America, the finest on-campus women's softball facility in America, all directly attributable to the work of the TAF, things you have to be very proud of.
Well, we are very proud of that, and just to be crystal clear, the athletic department uses some of those monies also to help and build some of those facilities. We assist, sometimes we do it 100%, sometimes we assist, sometimes the athletic department, which is state money, assists in a lower percentage or a higher percentage, depending on what the project is.
Now, the highest profile athletic facility on campus, obviously, Tiger Stadium. Historic venue, as Dan Barnett says, the cathedral of college football, undergoing a third renovation now, just in the last 13 or 14 years, correct, right? Third major renovation. Give us some detail about that expansion, that south end zone expansion and what we're going to see there. You and I were talking about it before the show. I know how proud you are of it. It is going to be absolutely spectacular.
Tim, it is stunning. And for the fan that goes to the first football game at home, they're going to say, wow, because it is absolutely changes the face of what inside a Tiger Stadium looks like. That expansion is $87 million expansion of the south end zone to include approximately 8,000 more seats. We'll have 100 plus
just over 100,000, right?
In the stadium. It'll consist of clubs, it'll consist of suites, and it'll consist of upper decks. By the way, where we're going to put our visiting fans all the way to the top.
I'm glad to hear that, quite frankly.
Strap them to a light pole.
There you go. There you go.
And then the total project is $100 million. The $13 million thereafter and some philanthropic fundraising will go towards a tennis complex, which will be across the street.
I think we've broken ground on that, haven't we?
We have. We scraped the ground, and we started that. And then also that remaining monies and philanthropic side of fundraising will go into a gymnastics complex.
Which Dee Dee Bro and her great gymnastics team done, maybe one of the best gymnastic programs now in the country, and so they deserve a great facility as well. Now, one of the things you mentioned to me about the football complex, and we've got about 2 minutes left, and I just want to hit on this briefly, is that you even are surprised at how good the sight lines are from those seats. Tell us a little bit about that.
I was amazed, and so is everybody that goes up there. The first comment they say is, "This is an amazing view." It's structured in such that it rises up and looks down onto the field as opposed to being far away from it. And you see a vertical football game as opposed to a perpendicular football game if you sit on the sideline. Changes the whole atmosphere.
Yeah, you'll be able to see formations, how things develop over time, that sort of thing. We got about a minute left. You mentioned the tennis facility, which is going to be a world-class college tennis facility. You mentioned those gymnastics facilities. Less high-profile sports, but no less important to the Tiger Athletic Foundation, right?
Exactly, and that's why we're using that monies that football generates, if you will, to pay off the bond issue for the less revenue-producing sports. That's very important. But the most important thing is the student-athlete and the fans that are out there watching you today. These fans, our fans, the LSU fans, are absolutely superb. So thank you, fans.
General Ron Richard, thanks for the work that you do. Appreciate it. That's a wrap, guys. Thanks for joining us. Join us again next week at this very same time for another edition of the Louisiana Business and Industry Show.